everybody, and welcome back to the Amazon EU Masters. I'm Hiprain, I'm joined by the king of waffling, Jamada, as we are getting ready to go into our third game of the day. This is obviously the Prime League's big taking on Fnatic Rising from the NLC. Now, Fnatic Rising are a team who have pretty storied since joining the UKLC, which then became the NLC. Consistently had made top 4 for a while, except last EU Masters, they didn't even make it out of the play-in stage. And they made it to the finals at the NLC this time around, but realistically, they haven't had the greatest split, and Big are definitely the favoured team coming into this.
Yes, definitely so. I think for Fnatic Rising, it's just not been a very great year in results, realistically. You know, not quite being able to win out in spring, not making it to main stage in spring EVA at UM. So I think they're playing a lot for pride now. Not the player, but actually for their own pride as a team. And of course, Febvin dropped out. They've now got Dajor. So it's going to be interesting to see how the young player does for himself. But for Big, you know, as well, on the opposite side, a team that last tournament, I feel like a lot of people had down as going very far and very deep into the tournament. Only made it to quarters, got knocked out, I believe it was to memory serves me right as Mouse 0-2. So
yeah, I think so.
I think all right then, Jake, come on, man.
I trust you. I trust you on it, man. I trust you on that one.
But yeah, so Big this time around as well in their group. Definitely expecting to try and finish as the first seed coming out of Group C. And I think Fnatic Rising, definitely an argument to be made that they should be fighting for that first spot too. But I think there's still a lot of questions around how this Fnatic Rising team is, you know, realistically still melding together, because they've only been working with Dajor for what is the best part of maybe a month and a half now, 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, for those who didn't know, they obviously had Febvin as their mid laner for all of this year. A lot of people wouldn't have seen them if they didn't watch the NLC, just because their play-ins was frankly a failure. It's not even disappointing. It's just frankly a failure. That's the only way you can really word it for Fnatic Rising. And then domestically, they had, you know, in the NLC, it was split into 2 groups, and some people were saying, oh, Fnatic kind of had the easy group, and they fell into the lower bracket after losing the upper bracket final in the playoffs. And during the playoffs was when they lost Febvin. So they went into playoffs with a brand new mid laner, and there were some pretty big boots to fill. And I don't think Dale's been a problem. No, I just think Fnatic as a whole have had some gelling issues, and they're just not sticking together. And I don't think adding Dajor has added or taken away anything. I feel like the problem still exists. Now, it's been a little while since we've seen Fnatic Rising, who lost to Tripped in the grand finals over in the NLC. So Dajor now going up versus someone like Rika. Can he hold up? That is the question. I feel like realistically, if you're Fnatic, you want to play through Bean and Rhuckz in this particular matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the bottom lane going to be very key in today's game for both of these teams, just because Bean, pretty much the vocal point. If Bean's popping off, Fnatic, they play around him as a unit, and usually they will win games off the back of Bean's performances, and Keduii as well. A very fantastic individual. AD.
Yeah, I mean, Keduii has been on this scene, on this rotation for a very long time. Built up a pretty big name for themselves as an AD carry, so it's a tall task. And I think Fnatic starting out on a very uphill battle. Big definitely one of those teams to, you know, take one of those top 4s. I know we said that quite a lot, to be completely fair, but it's definitely been a it's going to be an uphill fight. It was taken away here with the Fresh, the Aphelios, the Set, the Lee Sin, and the Varus so far.
Yeah, and we'll see whether or not Fnatic want to hit another AD jungler. Instead, they're going to hit Rika's Rise, which one of his more played champions so far over in Germany. I think 2nd most played, or it might be 3rd, behind Sylas and his Victor. A lot of hovering between Jayce and Camille here, but I imagine, yeah, one of the AD junglers. And it will be the Viego, so options definitely there for Fnatic. They still have the Zins out if they want to dip into that. They've got things like the Trundle if they want to lean into that. MAXI played a fair amount of Trundle, particularly towards the back of the playoffs. Yeah. So they can definitely go down that route. The Thresh is down, but could see strong support also coming for Rhuckz. Very, very strong on the engaged supports, in my opinion. Things like the Leona definitely is comfort, but they're gonna hit big with the Renekton Nidalee first rotation. So immediately says to me, okay, I'm expecting on R3 here for being a very safe AD carry, perhaps something like the Ezreal. Maybe Big even take that one away, try and snag that one up for Keduii, because I believe very comfortable on that champion. One of his most played. Sylas will be locked in, and Jayce. So despite the Renekton, despite the Nidalee, Big still willing to pick up very strong side solo laners, lanes that can scrap, can be played towards with this Viego. And that also says to Fnatic Rising, okay, do we want to match the solo lane, pick up a champion that we know Dajor is very comfortable on, and Sylas actually a very big pick, I feel, into the Ox. It's the second most played, and on top of that, he actually has 8 games logged in the Twisted Fate, had a lot of games on that in the play-ins. Of course, Sylas can steal away the Destiny Gate, it becomes a very powerful tool, but instead Fnatic, they lock in the Wukong, so that Wukong's going to go into the Jayce. The Renekton will go into the Sylas. So Fnatic, they're actually going to have very strong one-to-one solo lane matchups, in my opinion. They're going to have a lot to play towards. Now for Fnatic Rising, I think the Lister ban, relatively telegraphed. I think if you're Big, you probably want to remove Ezreal. I think it has to kind of just go. Fnatic will likely try and play into the top side. If you get a weak side, scaling AD carry like that, I think Fnatic are just going to be very happy in the draft moving forward. So we'll see whether Big want to take into that. For now, they want to remove the engage option of Leona away from Rhuckz, and if they want to go down the full support path, Nautilus will probably follow, but I think Fnatic Rising, Kalista, they've already banned away the Varus, and maybe something like Ziggs could come out as well, or just a strong laning bottom laner, and Tristana definitely fits that profile.
Yeah, I'm going to deny that one, and now see what Big are going to make as their final ban. Like you said, I really would like to see an Ezreal ban. We've seen Ezreal kind of pop off both games that we've played so far. And for being it is a bean spec. And like you said, it also equals the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. We say being comfortable, it just makes sense for the composition right now. You have double poke and so much safety in the bottom side. It would just make things difficult for Big to work with. So ban away, definitely the correct call in my opinion. And it kind of means that if you're Fnatic Rising now, options are a little more limited in terms of safety. You could actually go for the support pick now and then get a more comfortable AD matchup later on down the line, and it seems like that will be the case with the Rakan lock-in. So with Leona gone, the only real, strong matchup into the Rakan still up and available is the Nautilus, which seaz second most played. So wouldn't be surprised to see him lock in, and it's up to Keduii what he wants to lock in, because there's been a lot of AD carry bans. Kai'Sa the hover, and I mean, being no stranger to Kai'Sa either. Not so much this split, but we'll see, as it's going to be that Kai'Sa locking for Keduii, and being...
I think this is a Keduii special as well, if I remember right, as well, so...
I wouldn't say a special, but most AD carries, they can play Kai'Sa. It's been
we had how many months of just nothing but Kai'Sa? If you play the carry, you can play Kai'Sa. The Nautilus was typically back in those days as well. The common support picked up with that, so I'm liking what Big have got here. This is a pretty scary comp, and Fnatic, they are looking to lock themselves something very, very aggressive in the bot lane, and something that can look to fight itself in the Rakan and the Xayah here for Fnatic Rising. I want to get your thoughts though on these rotations and on these matchups, Jamada.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll start with Fnatic first, just because, look at our backdrops, guys. Fnatic Rising, a lot of agency in a lot of these solo lanes, or in a lot of their lanes, period, rather. So it's definitely a different look to what we saw in playoffs. I felt like they lent a lot more on scaling. So this time around, I want to see them definitely be proactive around the Renekton lane. Bean and Rhuckz, we've spoken about it being a very big vocal point for Fnatic Rising. So expect a lot of resources to go down into him. But again, options very, very wide. And as for Big here with their draft, I think, tried to go for that topside domination. The flex of the Renekton to the mid lane definitely threw a spanner in the works there, but they've got the Kai'Sa Nautilus on the bottom side, and they can definitely play around the skirmishing power of that. I mean, we saw why it was so powerful at MSI a couple of months back. Yes, it's been nerfed a little bit, but still, power is there for them. And I think with the Jayce pick, oh no, not Jayce is being fielded in the top side, isn't it? So with the Sylas and the Viego, rather, the 4v4 or the 3v3 on the bottom side can definitely be very, very strong. I think the team that pounces first likely to come out ahead. I think the amount of CC on either side, or the burst damage as well, does make the first to pounce have a very large advantage, as we're onto the Rift for game number 3 of the day.
Yeah, and this is the NLC's Fnatic Rising versus the Dark Region from the Prime League. Is Big. Team with very high expectations on them, Big. I know we've said this X team has high expectations, but honestly, the first 3 games of the day have contained at least one team who has had high hopes. And, you know, there's only top 4 spots. But so far we've seen 3 teams that have, you know, potential to make top 4. And there's a whole bunch of other teams that have potential to make top 4 as well. So give me an exciting one.
Top 2, Jake.
And this is top 2. Yeah, you're trying to go for top 2, right?
Yes, Jake.
Top 1, right? I mean, that's the ultimate goal,
right?
Is to win.
No. Okay, don't worry. I think we're both confused. It's all right, but like you say, big expectations for Big to make a deep run. And as for Fnatic Rising, I think it's going to be a lot about sort of showing a bit of a redemption arc here in terms of overall performance. Because I think there are probably more questions around them than there have been for a while when it comes to the organization, at the very least, or the team and its performances inside of the ERL. Of course, seeing the team go to finals in the ADC, almost become champions, first time in quite a few years, would have been quite the boost, but we'll see whether Fnatic Rising can dump that luck instead and take down Big. I think Big still a lot of strong tools. It's about whether or not they can use them. I think definitely the bottom side going to be a pretty big thing for them to use. I think in the mid lane, Dajor going to have a lot of priority. It's very hard for Sylas to match some of the trading power early on with the Renekton, so expect Fnatic Rising should have mid lane priority. That's going to be a very big deal with a Nidalee matchup. Nidalee, a jungler that, of course, loves to build up tempo and really abuse fast pace, invades and things of the like. But Akabane, mid lane priority that Fnatic Rising has, it means that you're a bit overextended trying to go for the gank.
Yeah, but he's able to slice and dice upwards towards his jungler.
Yep.
MAXI will finish up the chickens and hit 3. Does mean that MAXI probably not going to be able to contest this crab. Akabane on this side of the map, and with Pride heavily shoved in, they're pretty chunked already. Versus Rika. Actually, continuing to just trade upwards here. The passive doing a lot of work. Chunking out Dajor, but does look like MAXI still wants to contest, still wants to try and fight for this crab. But Dajor, I think you could just be dead to one more ability, so it's going to step away.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's got that teleport, but they are looking for fighting all over the map. It is action. Plenty to start us off, as now MAXI caught out by the Spectral Maw. Has got that flash if he can get over the wall in time. Eats that shot blast, flashes over the safety. And honestly, a bit of a question raised on why MAXI was decided to fight for this crab, knowing the lane states.
Yeah, no top side prio. It's Melonik with first move, and we just saw that you'll have to go back to base and teleport back in. So definitely a very questionable decision to try and contest that skull, and that was always going to be bigs and bigs. Take away Maxi's flashes. Speaking of taking away flashes, Keduii flashing away from a potential lockdown. So that's going to be a target for Fnatic to try and hit on, but for Big, definitely winning out on the lane matchups. In the mid lane, definitely a bit of a surprise. In the top side, I think once you hit level 6 for Pride, it's a bit of a problem for Melonik, but Melonik...
He's just going to look to try and turn around, but the flash is not big enough. Melonik going low. MAXI needs that spear to land. Can't quite connect it. Melonik just about getting out from that.
Yeah, great play from Melonik. Need to dodge away from enough damage. Keduii, no flash.
Keduii, he's ignited. He's going oh so low. One more will do it. Bean finds first blood.
Yeah, real nice capitalization. No flash, only has heal available. Gets knocked up, and once he's in that CC, likely never to return from that trade alive. As hop into a replay of this bottom side finish, just the red entrance. Instant knock up into the root cooler. Too much damage, and Bean even flashes forward just to make sure he secures the first blood. Can't give it over to Rhuckz, it's not allowed.
Supports don't get first blood, even if they make all the plays to make it happen.
Me AD, me gold.
Gold mine.
Yes, so very nice for Bean to get on the board there, and of course we've already spoken about how if Bean does get ahead, Fnatic will do their best to play around him, supplement and prompt him up to make sure he is able to deal damage. And I think Xayah into what is primarily a moving forward composition out of Big, if peeled for, can certainly dish out a whole lot of DPS. I think Xayah often overlooked as a champion that honestly has some of the highest damage numbers you can find occasionally.
Hello, they're looking for Rika. They found the knock-up. Oh, spear from MAXI is enough to seal it. Fnatic finding a beautiful little kill in the mid lane, and Rika's burnt the teleport, so we'll lose out on this cannon wave.
Yeah, very, very nice amount of patience coming out from Fnatic Rising. Just the flash forward from Dajor on the slice and dice means that the Ruthless Predator does set up for all of the CC and burst damage. Rhuckz also commits the flash to play, but Rika will miss out on that wave. So very big deal there for the mid lane matchup. Definitely skews it a bit more back towards Dajor, who of course we saw losing out on the early levels. Not exactly how that matchup should go on paper.
Has now got that Executioner's calling, so we'll be able to deal with the sustain from that Kingslayer from Rika. It's going to make Rika's life a little bit more painful.
Yeah, Kingslayer.
Although he does still have the level advantage, so Rika has Dominus before Dajor does, although Dajor now things into 6. Akabane going to be able to pick up this Cloud Dragon. Infernal will be the second one, so looking at either a Mountain or an Ocean Drake as our Soul going into game number 3 in Pride. That's a nice little bit of damage once you got Sheen. Monkey Bop.
Yeah, Monkey Bop. This is a dive waiting to happen, honestly. I think MAXI's just taking the Grump, biding his time, and Melonik, you can see he's respecting the wave. He already knows, oh, actually, just spotted down the control. Couldn't see it underneath the Nidalee icon, so a lot of respect. Rika trying to rotate over to allow his top laner to at least receive some of this wave, as Akabane and even seaz makes his way towards the top side to try and defend that dive if Fnatic wanted to pull the trigger, but they do not. And everyone will return to their stations. Dajor, about to be the recipient of a gank, but he's cool. Slice and dice out.
Slice in, trade, dice out. Safe.
But outside of the kills, relatively relaxed game, and leaves Fnatic with a 2k gold lead. Big haven't quite been able to make a proactive play just yet. Level 6 is starting to come in, as might be the cast curse of the century, as I think they're looking for a play on today. Or
has got that Dominus to give himself a bit of survivability. He's going to have to pop it because here they come. Everybody's making the way forward. They're trying to dodge a wave. The hook's going to land. Teleport's too slow, but Pride's coming in. He has got himself the Wukong ult, but not going to throw down that Cyclone. Monkey Bop, not today.
Teleport just wasn't able to come in whilst Dajor could at least buy some time, and it means with the fast dive of Big, they're able to get out, find the kill, and also draw Pride's teleport. And on the top side, Melonik, probably 2 plates. Or very close to 2 plates taken, as it also signals Big to start up this Herald. They already had the numbers on the top side. They also had the wave state on the bottom side as well. They knew being resetting, even if he was to walk to the top side, it's a fight that they're likely able to take. And trades prior means they are a little bit too chunked out here. And I just said it. Big hadn't been able to make a proactive play just yet. As soon as I do, they are able to find one in the mid lane, and it's pretty big dividends.
Mid lane's been pretty back and forth in that sense, where ganks quite shifting the balance of power, though. Large Wave is going to push in to Rika's lane. He should be able to catch the majority of that. Rift Herald in the pocket of Akabane after he was able to secure that one off the back of that mid lane kill. Was going on during the replay, and we'll see where the attention is on this Rift Herald, where they decide to use it. Bean and Rhuckz, outside of that first blood, it's been relatively quiet. The CS lead is growing, however, in Bean's favor. Keduii kind of having to pay respect towards this bot lane duo. Bean just looking to shove the wave in and probably get cheeky reset off for themselves.
Seems like it will be the case. You would imagine probably the AD carry of Big will be the recipient of that Rift Herald. We'll have to see, though, how exactly they feel about it. I think dropping it in top side for the Jayce for Melonik wouldn't be too terrible either. The composition is a relatively... No, it is short range. So dropping it in the mid lane as well, mid tier 1, open up the map, make skirmishes easier to create. Also be a very big deal. You open up the map, push the mid lane wave up high, means you always have first move. So mid lane Herald, definitely a lot of potency to taking that one away. They are just not getting the upper hand of these trades whatsoever. Rika doing a really good job, just weaving in and out, making sure he's never really...
They're looking for a Rika. Rika able to dodge away. He finds a long-range chain lash going low, though. MAXI finds the kill, and Akabane goes down as well. Fnatic rising.
Wow.
Sliding in with 2.
Yeah, sliding in with 2. Definitely the right way. Pride looking for the all-in. I'm not sure he has enough damage.
I don't know. Monkey Bop. Monkey Bop. Just Monkey Bop.
Monkey does bop. A little bit green. of greed coming out from Melonik on the flash. I think he flashed earlier straight away after the knockback. Thundering blow. I think you just about make it out of that one. But Pride, he finds a solo kill. Fnatic Rising finding kills in all of the solo lanes right now. Spear! Just goes wide.
That was so close.
By the skin of his teeth. Just barely misses seaz, and that's a bit same as well. Keduii almost eats that one.
There's an alternator as well, so these spears genuinely will hurt if they hit.
That's like a solid 400 damage plus. Level 8 Nidalee with Stalk Boots and 6 stacks on the Dark Seal as well. Dajor, doesn't matter if he's not finding the upper hand in the trades. If he's finding the setup when his teammates are around, quite frankly, who cares about the laners? Set up a lot of burst onto Rika, and Rika, I think, looking for Dajor, just misses on the chain, and it actually connects onto MAXI, and that would have been the defining factor between Akabane picking up the Renekton form and maybe turning it onto MAXI as well. With the chain...
Steals that form, gets it, but this is Pride with the outplay. Hits both Cyclones, and then...
I think right here, you just flash...
As I said, Monkey Bot.
Yeah, Monkey Bot, but I think if you flash straight off the Thundering Blow, there's too much distance for Pride to ever make that solo kill happen. But, despite that, Herald drops on the top side, takes away the full tower, and we'll also get the charge onto the second tier tower too. See if they want to commit, because I believe they have a rough idea that Maxi's on this dragon. But I think the wave will soon, and they certainly will get the global notification soon, so won't decide to press on any further.
But look at the bot lane, there's only one plate now.
I was also about to say, seaz in the mid lane showing on that mid wave means that Keduii's getting forced off pretty heavily. That's a whole wave, and Fnatic even took away the Krug camp, so a lot of resources stolen away. Really strong play from Fnatic Rising so far.
Big Fnatic can be happy with that one. We actually take a little look at the gold, because Fnatic are up about 3,000 gold roughly, give or take. That's including Big having that first tower blood and almost securing that top lane tier 2, which is worth a lot more gold. So if Fnatic can start answering out of some towers, this gold lead may grow even bigger still. Akabane going in for a cheeky invade and should be able to pick up this one. Blue buff stolen away, so a little bit of a consolation prize as Rika just about feels the wind at his backside of that spear.
Feels the particles of the animation brush against his face. And,
you can see the gold actually was on screen a minute ago. Fnatic Rising, top 3 gold. Bean has the most gold right now. Immortal Shield Bow finished up. Got Divine Sunder onto Pride on the Wukong. Clips finished up from Melonik, and Divine Sunder onto Akabane. So getting close to their items. There's Akabane has been spotted out by Rhuckz and MAXI, but they're not going to pull the trigger. They'd rather maybe look for a dive in the bottom side. They've got that quickness available, and oh my lord! He is sleeping with the fishes. Down goes the scuba diver. Keduii now has to be very, very careful as MAXI's chasing in. They're looking for the knock-up, and he flashes. He dashes with the ulti out for safety. The tower will crumble with plates as well onto Beans. That's a lot more gold onto the most gold champion, most fed champion as far as gold goes in Bean. They're just going to go for a reset off the back of that one.
It's the solo queue Nidalee nightmare of walking into fog, getting hit by the spear, and practically getting one shot. Back of it, Bean, a lot more resources funneled into them. Gonna base for a core fields on top of shield bow he already has, so it looks like Essence Reaver will be the second item of choice. And Fnatic very comfortable right now, 3,000 up in total. Herald spawning in, oh no, it's already up, so option for them to take. And with Bean being so strong, I just don't know if Big right now are capable of contesting, so there should be an objective that goes into Fnatic Rising's pocket. They've also got teleport advantage on Pride, so Pride gonna go and cover the bottom side of the map, and Keduii, I believe, pushing out a wave towards that tower, so Pride wants to, if you can get there in time, you can freeze it. There's nothing really going on the map for a little while. It'll really, really hurt Big's resource intake as well. And I don't even think that bottom wave is gonna crash, so that's also gonna suck for Big, as looks like they're trying to sneak their way in, but Herald's already gone.
Yeah, MAXI's able to pick it up as well and get out. Like you said, probably can just hold this wave here for Pride if he wants to. Because I assume the Rift El's probably going to get used elsewhere. As seaz actually Hex flashes over the wall, does find Rhuckz as the quickness gets used, and seaz just gets bitten. Rika now then chased down, does get a cheeky slow off with that chain lash as Pride's coming in onto the side lane. The spear's going to go a little bit wide, and no support No real engage right now, but they have Pride and Dajor on the other side. That's just going to force Fnatic even deeper in. They're going to be able to find a second charge here. If Big overstep, they will get cyclones. They will get collapsed as the fight breaks out. The flashes get burned and the tower falls down. Third charge won't be happening, but Fnatic can be happy with the 2 they just found.
Yep, very tempered aggression from Fnatic. Obviously, yes, going for kills, but at the end of the day, you know the Herald is going to charge in. You know it's going to leave the tower low enough that if you just make the call to burn the tower whilst you're diving, it shouldn't really be much of an issue. That's exactly what they do. They find Keduii's flash, as well as Melonik's. So it's 2 key flashes going to be down for that dragon spawn up in 50 seconds. The ultimates should be back online, give or take a couple of seconds by the time that dragon does spawn up, which you imagine certainly looking to contest with the gold lead that they find themselves in. I think if you're big, already kind of looking to set up for it, the top side. I think you just try and cross map here. Don't try and contest Fnatic directly. As you do, I think you just lose out big time. But Fnatic actually defending the weak side play. Sylas actually in trouble.
Sylas could be in for a whole lot of hurt. The spear goes wide, but Pride comes in. 1 monkey bot lands. They steal away the Dominus. They get the Everfrost off. They've got a shield bow on Bean. He is so safe. He is so fine. That's going to be big. Getting chunked out. Fnatic able to punish them and force them out of the jungle.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Pride, who, you know, had a pretty quiet start to this game, is slowly getting more and more threatening, more and more scary, but it is all about Bean on this Xayah at the moment. So scary.
I mean, yes, Bean, but also MAXI's level 11 with 4 kills and a 400 gold bounty. So,
true.
Can't forget about the Kook. All right. The dragons are hard to hit.
I say bird, you raise me 1 cougar. Cats do eat birds, so.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a slightly bigger threat. Though, as Bean approaches that 2 iron mark, things will definitely change. I think for Fnatic, doing a really stellar job of just about everything so far. Even temporarily defending the weak side play, they know Big won't necessarily have the numbers in the top side straight away to capitalize, and it was just Big kind of overstepping. They don't necessarily get punished too hard, but the fact that Big weren't at the very least able to cross map, get that tier 2 on the top side, just hurts them that all a little bit more as Fnatic got the dragon for free.
We are, just as you said it, Bean did reset actually and pick up the Essence Reaver. So that's 2 items now finished up onto the Xayah. Keduii, just the Kraken Slayer and the Serrated. So with those 2 items, I do believe that is now the Q evolved. Yes, it is. So
Yes, should be.
Has at least got that working. But down a level, 2 points into that Featherstorm from Bean, and Bean's able to shove this way very deep. I'd say aggressively too deep, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but feels comfortable with the team, but it's going to get jumped onto the CC chain screen. There's the Featherstorm. Sylas will lose his life as the feathers come back and the CC chain is on. Melonik comes in. Dajor able to heal up a pair of madness to the skies as Keduii able to secure himself the kill. The feathers get pulled back once again with a blade cooler, and it's not going to root anyone. It's just a 1-for-1 mid for support, but Rika has to be so careful as Rhuckz got no flash, so won't be able to jump any further into Rika's face. But a spear, a jump, a knock up could spell his doom.
Launches away from it though, so Rika won't drop, and Fnatic kind of get forced onto Bean. Like you said, aggressive positioning, but I think when you're that fed, you have your team around you, the Featherstorm's always going to buy you enough time to
You have to burn him.
kind of sin like that. Yeah, he did have to burn Hill, but I mean, we'll get the replay here, so we'll see whether it was even necessary, to be honest with you. Hex Flash comes in, definitely way far ahead of his team, but does know he doesn't get chain CC, he's okay, but that was definitely a very risky play. Which does, fortunately for him, pay off. Heal trying to save Dale. There you go. Wasn't even for himself. But Big, unable to find anything off Bean's mispositioning. Items slowly but surely are coming in, but right now, Fnatic with this over 5,000 gold lead, or no, 5,000 on the dot. I beg your pardon. Just a little bit too strong, can kind of just brute force with their wallets.
Jumping in with the Cyclone, he's got Rhuckz jumping in forward, finds himself the knockup, the second Cyclone is big, the hill from Rika's huge, but it's going to be enough for MAXI to find the kill. The spear goes a little bit wide, and here comes the backup, but look at Bean over the wall, he is going to be untouched as he can just put the damage down, rooting everyone, the knockup from Rhuckz as MAXI slides it forwards, and Fnatic are mincing Big, Pride with the monkey Monkey Bomb secures the double kill. Gonna go down to the tower shots.
He gets creep blocked.
Oh, lucky
things.
days.
That's really unfortunate for Pride there, but the play very clean from Fnatic. Being honestly insane to be able to find a 3-man crew over the wall like that with the Blade Caller, but he just had the angle for it, and now that's going to be Baron picked up. And quite frankly, I think with this Baron, they should be able to take over what is left of Big's territory on the map. They should be able to pick up the next dragon. They should also be able to crack open the base. This should be a very big Baron for them. I'm not sure if the German side do have enough in the tank right now to survive. They're waiting for Pride to respawn. If you're wondering why they're taking so long on that Baron, we'll hand their top lane in the buff, but we'll get the replay here, and it's just Pride. Capitalization on the vision. He's actually looking for Rika, but he just finds Akabane. Purely coincidentally. Lookup does find Rika here, gets CC'd up, does try to get away with the Cougar form, but is dead to the world. Akabane out of the fight, but you just see, look at Bean's positioning over the wall, but also crucially, just finds the root caller onto all three, sets up for the grand entrance as well to 2 more. Means that MAXI is able to slide in, but look at Pride. Just gets creep blocked on the way out.
It's so sad.
One day they will fix the mid buff. No, they won't.
Pride's getting a lot thrown onto him, double cyclone, but he turns it back around, and oh my lord, Monkey is so scary.
Yeah, this Wukong champion's really strong. You know that? It feels like anytime I see it competitively, it just wins. I can't remember the last time I watched a Wukong game competitively and it lost. That's all I'm saying. All right, Riot, you're looking at dev team trying to nerf someone. I think you got a prime target here. But Big, I don't know if this is a trade you're happy with.
This is a yeah. I'm not sure about this one.
All right, well, it won't be an inhibitor, but they will crack open the base. Tower for tower, so it is 1-for-1, but if they can find Dajor, could be big.
Oh, he jumps over the chains, go wide. The Everfrost just about hits. He has the Dominus. Can buy himself a little bit of time as Keduii slides in. Dajor just trying to slice, just trying to dive, but he will lose his life in his form to Akabane. But now here comes the backup. Pride on the flank. Can he find Keduii? Can he find Rika? No, he can't. Goes invisible for the moment. He's going to get jumped onto. And I think with the CC chain, Fnatic kind of just spoon-fed a couple of kills over to Big. But actually, it was the old bait and switch, baby. They're going to look for it. The Dragon's been secured. They lose 3, however. Now Bean has to jump away. The tower's coming in. He has to flash. He has the ulti. He's going to use it in time to jump away. Can he escape? Yes, he can.
Bit of an overreach.
Jamada, I'm going to give it to you. What's that worth?
Well, they're one dragon away from Soul. I'm trying to do the mental gymnastics here to be a little bit, Fnatic favored, as you should be as a regional resident. But yeah, Fnatic.
A little bit biased.
Yeah, a little bit biased. They are just unfortunately out of position. The rest of Fnatic, of course, on the bottom side. Pride in the mid lane, rotating over, and then Pride. I'm not actually sure how he ends up in this position. He just kind of rotates over, and then the rest of Big haven't actually made their way back into the river fully. So the gap closes. A lot of CC eventually does land in. Pride dead, and well, Fnatic, they just say, okay, sneak away the dragon, not a problem, but Rhuckz gives his life for it, trying to make sure the rest of his team does escape, and Bean does have to blow the flash, crucially. Oh no, did he blow flash in? Yes, there you go. It's just the thing on the bottom. He held on the bottom. Looked a bit strange, but Featherstorm flash won't be available. Could be very crucial. I mean, Big do have a lot of potential chain CC, right? Spectral more, Scum the Duct.
Oh, Rika can't find the quickness. Can't even find the Everfrost, and it didn't really burn anything other than Rika's ultimate, which is on a relatively short cooldown.
Yeah.
Fnatic on the other side of the map are able to pick up a tier 2. Melonik is going to do his best to try and chip away at this tier 2 top side. Should be able to do so. But you recognize Melonik did actually transfer from Illumina, their old top laner, joining onto Big. So another storied player. Had a couple of European Masters performances so far.
It was definitely a bit of a surprise, I feel, as well. That Illumina roster. I feel like kind of a fair amount of hype behind it.
Yeah.
Sort of maybe a dark horse team. Fortunately, wasn't quite able to make out of groups last time around. Looking to change that, personally, Melonik on the Big side. But right now, staring down the barrel of around a 7,000 gold deficit. Fnatic Rising played this game pretty damn well, if I do say so myself. Big never really found the opportunity to play towards their strong tools. Very frequently, Fnatic always had those kind of numbers around when Big maybe wanted to make a play. It took maybe 10 or 15 minutes for Big to really find a proactive play on Dajor in the mid lane. By then, it wasn't quite too late. Gold was still very even, but it wasn't quite enough to set the Sylas ahead. Jayce is also put far behind.
Bean is so scary now. The Infinity Edge, got the Immortal Shield Bow, Essence Reaver. There's a stopwatch in there as well, just for a bit of added safety along that Featherstorm. So it's going to be very hard to deal with Bean. And the amount of damage that he's able to put out on this Xayah. Also, as you can see there, demonstrated pretty well. Got a lot of wave clear. Able to shove these waves pretty quickly and consistently. Over on the other side of the map, you got Pride, who's got the Titanic, got the Divine Sundra, also a stopwatch on Pride. Almost got that level 16 mark, so we'll have that 3 points in Cyclone, fully maxed out that ability. Is Fnatic just stripping away a couple of jungle camps.
Yeah, nothing else to do. They don't have the Baron on the map right now. Pace the game definitely slowing down a tad, but with no neutrals, I think Fnatic doing the right thing still, playing the waves, dipping into a side, clearing away vision, securing vision. Big only really have that small pocket by the chicken camp. That's about it. They've got that one stray ward there, that high traffic area on the blue side of their jungle. But other than that, they are being suffocated out quite heavily. And this next dragon's going to be soul for Fnatic if they pick it up, and it feels like Big haven't really been able to find much damage in return in general on Fnatic. And mounting soul on top of that is going to make that job so much harder.
It really is. 48 seconds until that one comes up, and Fnatic, they can afford to give it. They can genuinely afford to give it, and they're going to start Baron, if anything, to try and force some teleports out.
Did they spot Akabane somewhere? Because he was in the bottom side tri-brush. He's in Nadia, as far as this Baron's concerned. And
he's not getting here in time. It's already 1 foot HP. Speeding in, but Baron's already secured. The ensuing fight is the big thing to watch out for, but Akabane trying to find a Spectral more. The flashes get burnt and Fnatic get out. Baron in their pocket. Bean overstepping a little bit there. Rhuckz actually support the quickness, looking for the knockup as he steals away his own one. Flashing out for safety. They've got all the abilities landing onto Bean. Bean's down, and just like that, Big have found their opportunity. They lock down the rock of the Crocodile, and he is going to be falling. Keduii going so low. The Prozibel not enough to secure it, but there's a monkey on that flank. Can he find his opportunity? I don't think Pride can do so. Fnatic greeding for the fight, and it costs them heavily. They've only got Baron onto 2, and it might just be the 1 as Pride looks for the turnaround. Looking to strip this away. Look at the damage. Look at the Cyclones. It's not going to be enough. Melonik has spiked, and just like that, only MAXI holds Baron.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a questionable decision. I don't understand what Bean was going for there. I think you just retreat. Simple as that. It's Big on the top side of the map now. You're the first ones that get to move down. There's no reason to take this pathing at all. It forces Rhuckz into a position where he feels like he has to go forward, or at the very least keep Bean alive, and Bean just eats all of the chain CC. He doesn't even get to flash. And it's
really questionable position there by Green.
It's just really poor decision making. Keduii almost dies to 1 spear, as you do.
I mean, if Fnatic won that fight, they would have won the game. They wouldn't have even need soul. Like, they just, with Baron, walk down mid lane. But
the problem, yeah, that's the thing. And the problem is, if more members of Fnatic die in that position, I mean, if Pride hadn't teleported and also held the wave, it could have ran it down the mid lane and ended. I think they would have enough time.
Yeah.
So, Fnatic, definitely not infallible to mistakes. That was definitely a pretty large one. It's going to cost them a fair amount of momentum in this game. And with MAXI only having the Baron, no mountain soul in pocket.
I mean, look at that Baron power play. Negative 1,200.
They've almost lost the amount of gold the Baron gives you.
It looks like they may be looking for a little bit more as Pride gets slowed down by Rika.
See, I don't think Big necessarily looking for a fight right now. They just want to make sure that Fnatic aren't able to push up and forward for the remainder of MAXI having that Baron, which is only 30 seconds anyway. Big holding out because of that misplay from Bean on the pathing. Buys them a lot of time. And the items, they're there. Honestly, Keduii 3 items is matching that of Bean. Bean does have the full Guardian Angel.
Yeah.
But stopwatch is there for Keduii, so, you know, when you're talking about diving forward with that,
if they can take this for the teleport complete, that's going to be huge. And they are able to do so. They find the knockup. Rhuckz is looking for the ability to lock people down, unable to do so. Rika has stolen away the quickness. Inhibitor is going to go down. They can look to just follow up onto this bot lane inhibitor, but they'd already started. Keep your eyes on Rika with the quickness in pocket. 2 inhibs for Fnatic, and as the Baron fades, they make a positive play for themselves, but there is a potential collapse coming in, and Fnatic may just look for a little bit of a death corner more than a death brush.
Yeah, catching somebody off guard here could be pretty cheeky, but see the recalls coming in from Bean and Rhuckz.
Oh, no.
Interrupted. So Fnatic just make sure that they don't leave their bottom laners on an island as big. They're shoving up the mid lane Bean. I mean, Fnatic might try and turn this into an actual punish, but it's like Big got the telegraph. Back away from the wave. I mean, underlying point of that play, Fnatic, they pick up 2 inhibitors. And in the replay, they're able to burn down this tower before crucially Melonik's teleport does channel, and I mean, they almost get it before Rika's teleport channels too, and if that's the case, they could just kill the 3 defending the base here, and maybe even go as far as ending the game. Just pick up seaz. Pick up the second inhibitor as well.
I think I agree with you, actually. I think if Rika hadn't teleported in, him with the quickness was too scary of a thought. So they were able to just... Big were able to hold on thanks to that. But now they are catching waves, and Fnatic, you know, it's only topside. If they can do this by the books, take all 3 inhibitors, it's going to be ultra hard for Big to handle this.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the dragon spawning in 1 minute, you've got enough time to go and play towards the top side. You've got mid and bot inhibs. Yes, the dragon will spawn on the bottom side of the map, but if you can secure that 3rd inhib, the Baron spawning, you know, 15 seconds or so after that dragon anyway, you can just retreat to that, have the supers deal the rest of the work. I think the soul can be used more of a bait for Big, or for Fnatic, too big, rather, as it will be the shove on to the top side of the map. The waves not quite in sync. The mid lane one well in the middle of the map, bottom side one still a little whiles to go as well, so Big have a fair amount of time. If they want to make something happen, they'd have to force if Fnatic stuck around, but they're not, and that's the crucial thing. Looks like Fnatic want to play for this dragon. They don't want to give Big an opportunity to be on Mountain Soul Point themselves. Like we said earlier on, Big are in a position where, you know, the damage wasn't quite there just yet. A Mountain Soul could make things difficult if they picked it up 5 minutes ago for Fnatic Rising. Now that's not really the case. You look at the items of Melonik, of Keduii, Akabane as well. A lot of % HP damage, isn't too fussed about the resistances.
Also, that Serpent's Fang kind of preemptively going to be pretty bad. Well, not bad, but it's, you know, it's going to do its work. Look at Rika on the flank, Pride. Going to pop that blast cone, but already they're looking for a potential flank. Their soul secured. Seaz jumping in. Bean gets himself knocked up. He's been locked down by all of the CC, but it's a cluster in the top side. Akabane's going to go down, and Fnatic are quashing Big. They have nowhere to go. The flash is over the wall. Bean's looking for Keduii, able to do so, and Fnatic find a clean ace. The NLC representatives will take this game.
This is definitely the kind of performance we need to see out of Fnatic Rising. I think there were so many questions coming into this EU Masters about whether or not they were going to be able to perform, in my opinion. I think losing out to Tricked in the finals domestically, a pretty big deal, but right here into the German first seed, looking pretty damn good. Fnatic Rising, they will take down Big in their first game of the main stage. And honestly, outside of that one slip up from Bean, pretty confident game, it felt like Big never really afforded the opportunity to play into, you know, what could potentially be a strong side matchup if they play towards it early on enough. Rika, despite the very strong early laning, again, you know, they weren't really able to force numbers into the mid lane to punish the orb more consistently. Yeah. And it just kind of gave Fnatic time, and eventually they just found these picks, these plays where they forced numbers, particularly towards the mid lane, actually, where the orb was kind of being used as bait, and it eventually snowballed the lead onto the rest of the map and for objectives for Fnatic Rising.
Well, that was an amazing game there from Fnatic, and a much-needed win for them over one of the scariest teams in their group. But we're going to throw to a quick break, and we'll talk a little bit more about that after this, so we'll see you in a second. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Amazon EU Masters. Game number 3 is now under our belt and the first win for the NLC second seed, Fnatic Rising, and they came in an explosive fashion. We set the expectation that Big were going to win this game. We thought they looked like the stronger team, there were high expectations for them, and Fnatic domestically, and I wouldn't even say just domestically, just have had a bad year, but yeah, man, MAXI, Bean and Pride stepped up today and they put on a monster performance, especially MAXI. I don't think he died this game.
We'll see on the stats board at the after the replay. I don't think he did die. But yeah, honestly, borderline statement game from Fnatic Rising, if you ask me. Again, loads of questions for Fnatic, and of course, Big, #1 German seed. It's typically a very fearsome region, but today, Fnatic Rising just kind of had their number. And a couple of misplays in the early game. And for me, not enough proactivity between the solo laners or even the bottom side, but I guess once the 2v2 came down, it became a little bit of a difficult task to play towards. Fnatic Rising just took over the map. Yeah. Like just really slowly, but eventually, once they had their chokehold on it, it was just really difficult. And I think this was definitely the play of the game for me, where as soon as Bean finds that 3-man route, it just sets up for complete devastation on the end of Big, not able to respond to something like that. Pride probably hates minions, and Fnatic Rising, they retreat to the Baron off the back of that. And that should have been probably the end of the story. You know, Fnatic go down towards the Dragon, find that, but definitely a bit of a misplay here, gave Big a way in. But unfortunately, Big, even off the back of pretty handsome donation from being not able to pick up any more than that, but they did make it compare for the rest of it, definitely.
Yeah, this was the final fight as well, the defining moment where, you know, even with Bean being locked down, the rest of the team just couldn't get through Pride and Dajor. They were just able to buy time to get Bean to join in. And at this point, he had the GA, he had the shield bow, he had so many tools to keep himself alive, but Rika just couldn't deal with it. Fnatic find the cleanest ace. Really, really lovely stuff there from Fnatic. And you see the gold graph on your screens. You can see, you know, how much was coming out from Fnatic. And yeah, there was a 20k damage Kai'Sa, 19k damage Jayce, but it just was not enough.
Yeah, Big's largest gold lead this game was, according to the graph, 108 gold. So I think that that kind of lets you know about the story of this game for the most part. Again, I just felt like Big sat on their hands for a little bit too long, allowed Fnatic Rising to play their game. And then once Fnatic Rising had a hold of it, for the most part, they just never really let go.
Well, that is it for me and Jamada on our first day here at the Amazon EU Masters. We'll be switching out with Foxdrop and Scoundrel, but in the meanwhile, sit back and relax and listen to our Warner Song of the Week, Paper Planes.